Yes, ma'am.
Hi, John, I'm a major fan of yours from Faulty Towers. I'm wondering if you're planning any new episodes in the future.
No, I haven't done any for 9 years now, believe it or not. And both Connie Booth and I, because we wrote it together, we always felt we'd done it. And I know people would like to see more, but there's two reasons. First of all, as I always say, we got 6 hours out of Basil Fawlty, and Shakespeare only got 4.5 out of Hamlet. Well, 7.5 when Kevin did it, but...
You know what's really amazing? You can't see the scars at all. I keep looking at him from the profile, and it's just fabulous. It's really a good job. You know, they've really done a nice job on him.
It's amazing what surgery can do these days, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Oh, like that's so
This
funny.
is for who's ever in the know. Needless to say, A Fish Called Wanda is an unusual title. Who wrote the screenplay, and how did you come up with that title?
That's what we want to know. Yeah.
Do you know, I really can't remember where the title came from. I know it just amused me when I thought of it. It was obviously after I'd had the idea that Michael Palin, I'm sorry, should keep pet fish.
No, it is Palin, actually, John.
Is it?
It is Palin, yeah. We had this trouble on the set, you know, it was awesome. Okay, carry on.
But I can't remember the first part of the question.
Where did the movie come from?
It was better than the answer.
The title of the film.
The title, I can't remember how we got to that, but after I'd realized that Mickey was a pet lover and ought to keep fish, and that he was in love with Jamie, who's called Wanda, and he would therefore call his favorite fish after Jamie, I came to A Fish Called Wanda, and it made me grin. And I told about a dozen people that title, and they all smiled. So I thought, well, that's all you can expect from a title. Also, I think it makes people slightly curious. Some people.
Yeah. Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, to John, are you thinking about maybe recreating that Cheers character? And to Jamie, do you like younger guys? That's
Like the younger than him, there's a whole spectrum is there. I mean, anybody younger than John is okay by me, and we're talking about men in their 80s, really, because, you know, John is secretly about 89.
What did she say?
Why don't you answer the question first, John? Are you going to recreate that brilliant character that you played on Cheers because you're such a brilliant actor, writer, director?
How nice of you, Jamie. In a word, no.
Thank you, John. Yes, I like young men. I like old men. I like men, usually.
Go.
Kevin, if I may call you Kevin.
Please.
Call him sir. He loves it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed you immensely in The Big Chill. I've seen it many times. How did the camaraderie on the set during the filming of The Big Chill compare to making this movie?
Only in that on The Big Chill we all liked one another. Other than that, it was identical, and we had a good time on The Big Chill. We really did. We had a lot of fun, and we've remained friends, most of us. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, we've all remained close friends, and on this movie, none of us are really speaking to one another because of the antipathy between the shut up!
We start speaking to each other, you know. It's just better to put your own point of view.
You talk. Fine.
I mean, I was promised a part, a Charlton Heston role. John told me I could, you know, naked from the waist up, huge pectorals. I could ride a chariot and end up with him sticking French fries up my nose. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What is it like after you've done, you know, that sort of experience with a guy? It's tough.
Shut up.
I think, like, you know, I haven't seen the movie, but being that you're in it, I've got to see it, because I think you're so fabulous.
He's getting hotter.
Oh, you want under the thing.
London is the people in England are just fabulous.
Really?
Really, I think they do. They're not phonies.
I agree with you. This is all joking. I love the English, most of them. Two of them.
I'd just like to know when the movie's going to air in New York. Is it shortly?
It's opened in New York.
It's playing right now. You should all be there.
It's in 2 theaters in New York, and then 2 weeks it's going wide all across New York. Theaters, skyscrapers, shoe shops, trattorias, bistros. Yeah.
I guess this is a question for John. Unfortunately, I didn't see the movie. Is it British humor?
What is British humor?
Well, that's more my question. I had never, ever gotten British humor. I'm sorry. bizarre question, I know. And there's probably no answer, but I've never
gotten British
humor.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
I mean, you know, like with early
Is this a
comedy in
question?
America, it was a lot of it was slapstick, you know.
Yes.
There's...
John, do you get the question?
Has she finished already?
Yes.
The truth is, I think the English sense of humor is identical to the American sense of humor, provided that we can understand what we're talking about. Because your culture, seriously, your culture is so different from the British culture that a lot of jokes that, for example, I made in the last movie I made, I didn't realize they were cultural jokes, but when they played to an American audiences didn't laugh. For example, I had a scene, went into a public telephone booth. It didn't work. It never does work in the UK, you know. And I went into 3 in a row, and I got furious. Now, in the UK, everybody thought that scene was very funny because they all hate the public telephone booth because they don't work. In America, with the exception of New York, public telephone booths work. So the joke just didn't play. And I'd no idea that it was a cultural joke. Now, on Wanda, thank you. Sorry, you had plenty of time asking your questions, but I'm just taking my revenge. All right?
Quick one-liners, that's the British style. One-liners. There, he's got it. He's made himself laugh now.
You did understand that, did you? Yes.
What?
I'm looking forward to see the movie because I believe John
Can I say something else?
Sure you can. Go ahead.
Phil, what I was going to say was I didn't want to repeat that experience because this last movie of mine was only seen in America by 9 people. So I worked out Jamie's character with Jamie. We kind of wrote it together. And I worked out what's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin's character with Kevin. And I had an American producer called Michael Schamberg looking over my shoulder all the time saying, take that 4-syllable word out, they don't know it, and put more car chases in. And that way we made something that will really appeal to the American audience. I'm quite sure of that. Oh, yes. How boring.
I'm looking forward to seeing the movie because I believe John does a nude scene.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if Kevin's planning on doing one in his next
It's interesting how he bridles at that question, you know. Excuse me, please ask the question.
Well, I'm fairly nude.
No, he's fairly nude.
I'm practically nude in this film.
Yep. We're all nude under the clothes, you know.
Yes, but
we tried,
you know
we all
what?
stripped
You two
off, but
don't
it was
have
only
that...
John's nudity that was kept in the movie in the end.
Because it was a comedy.
But you know why? I mean, you guys don't have anything to really worry about, if you know what I mean. Whereas John, you know, there must be some sort of psychological reason that he has so much bravado in his older life, and that's because he's hiding something, which is, as we all know, which you can see in the movie.
Yeah.
That's enough!
And he does make industrial films.
Kevin, here are Kevin and Michael at work in this film. This is, here's the animal lover. Here's the fish keeper, Michael. Kevin is a hood, very aggressive hood. And here's how they interact in this film. A Fish Called Wanda.
You really like animals, don't you, Ken? What's the attraction?
Because you can trust them and they don't
On you?
show off all the time.
You know what Nietzsche said about them? He said they were God's second blunder. Bye, sis.
Well, you tell him from me that I can show him.
Bye, George. You talk to Mom. Tell her I said hi.
Okay.
Don't let him touch you.
One more day, we're together.
I'm sorry about my brother, Ken. I know he's insensitive. He's had a hard life. Dad used to beat him up.
Good.
Thanks, guys. Really good.
That was straight in profile. I like that.
This is for Jamie Lee. I saw you in all the Halloweens and Trading Places and Perfect. Can you say something about your leading men? Especially
you mean in all the
yeah,
all
like
of them?
Travolta and all of your leading men.
Well, I like John very much. I haven't seen him that much since the movie came out, and I always end up with very strange leading men, I think. I've never been sort of a mainstream sort of woman. I've never sort of been the pretty girl in school and stuff, and so I've always ended up with sort of very strange sort of leading men. Dan Aykroyd is a good example, and you know, Kevin and Michael are both, you know, interesting and good leading men. I've only worked with really one boring, you know, unattractive one.
Oh, God. Are you getting it yet
right.
now back here about this man? Whose end did I see? Yes, ma'am.
Kevin, I saw you being interviewed last night on TV, and you did very well.
Why, thank you.
About what would you say, a 5, 6, maybe 10?
Probably a 10.
Thanks. That's why I got asked back today. I actually
Right.
never got out of the studio. I was just upstairs, and they just
Oh,
brought me
I
down here
see.
this
They
morning.
wouldn't let you go, huh? But, Michael, I wanted to ask you, I saw you in the fish tank. How do you know which one is Wanda?
How do I know which one is Wanda?
Right.
I didn't.
She's the big one.
We had a Wanda. Wanda was sacked, actually, because she ate all the smaller fish. There was, we had this fish called Wanda to start with, and we kept noticing as we came back each day that some of the smaller fish in the tank were actually missing, and it turned out there'd been a little bit of cannibalism in the cast there. The bigger members of the cast eating some of the smaller ones. It happens in showbiz all the time. When it spread to the humans on the cast, we had to put a stop to it.
This is for John and Mike. I want to say I'm a huge Monty Python fan, and I would like to know when you're having...
How big are you?
Very big fan. And
How much?
I'd like to know if you're going to have a movie out soon, another Monty Python, and also, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Yes. I mean, no. We haven't decided yet. John will probably take...
It's hard to do another Python movie because, as you know, most of the other Pythons are dead now. Terry Gilliam is in a home, but I gather he's not going to last much longer. So really, in A Fish Called Wanda, you have really what is still available from the original Monty Python team.
John will now only do Python films if it involves nude scenes, and he'll have to rent that same body out again, and I don't know whether he'll be able to afford it.
Hi, this is directed to Jamie Lee. First a statement and then a question.
Okay.
Jamie, you broke my heart when you got married. And secondly, if you're not happily married, can I leave my phone number with Phil?
Yeah.
And thirdly, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Has anyone ever married someone as a result of this program? Has this ever worked on air?
Oh, I have, yes. And we'll be back in just a moment.